Hey, so I just got back to the hotel room in Paris after spending the day at Roland Garros. And what was really cool about this trip was I had the Pro Direct tennis team with me, filming what we got up to so that I could share it with you guys. So let's rewind back to this morning and come along with me. Be sure to stay tuned till the end of the video, as if you're thinking about going to the French Open, I've got a few tips for you. Let's get into it. So I'm actually in Paris for 3 days. Yesterday I did a shoot with Pro Direct Tennis, which you'll see in a later video. And tomorrow I have a really exciting day with Adidas. So be sure to subscribe to the channel to see those. But today was a free day, so we were able to visit the French Open. Now, you may remember that I went last year to a night session where I was fortunate enough to watch Rafael Nadal play. This was one of the most memorable experiences that I've ever had watching a tennis match. Seeing Rafa play in the flesh from just 2 rows back and seeing him compete in what might be his last French Open. Hopefully not, hopefully he gets one more in 2024. But it was just incredible to be there and be surrounded by the atmosphere that Rafa brings to the French Open. Anyway, this year I had the chance to go to a day session, which was really cool as I was able to see more of the Roland Garros site. We entered via the club lounge entrance as we were fortunate enough to have hospitality. This meant that we had access to a bar throughout the day which had air conditioning, which was great as it was pretty hot. It was 30 degrees. But to be honest with you, we didn't really use it as we were so keen to watch as much tennis as possible. We just popped back there now and again to pick up a bottle of water. The first thing that we did was we had a stroll around the club to get our bearings. It felt smaller than Wimbledon, but well spaced out. As you can see, it was pretty busy. This was the first Thursday, so during that first week there are still lots of players still playing in this competition. Pretty much every single court had a match on throughout the entire day. However, for the last couple of hours of the day, some of these courts became available for practice sessions, which I've got an important tip for you about later in the video. After doing a lap of the site, we headed over to our seats on Philippe Chatrier. Now, Philippe Chatrier is the centre court of Roland Garros, and it seems to be a pretty similar size to centre court at Wimbledon. We were really lucky to have seats right near the front, and the first match that we were to watch would be Casper Ruud versus an Italian player called Zeppieri. Now, this was a really good match. Like I said, it was around 30 degrees in temperature, so it was super hot, and this match went on for over 3 hours. Zeppieri had a huge forehand and a very explosive game style, but Casper was just so good at neutralizing each of those shots and in the end was just too solid on the clay. I'm really interested to see how Casper gets on this year after reaching the final last year, as he hasn't had such a good season. However, you can see how at home he feels when he's playing on the clay. Although he was too solid for Zeppieri, I do wonder how he's going to get on in the later stages of the tournament, as he did seem to struggle with his first serve percentage. I felt that if his opponent is able to open up the court a little bit more and to use more angles and more variety, it could have made things more difficult for Casper. However, with Zeppieri's aggressive game, Casper just absorbed that pace and seemed to cope with it really well. After this match, we got a bite to eat and then checked out some of the activities around the site. They had different zones for content creation. Wilson had set up a touch tennis court, and they had a speed of serve zone, which of course I had to go over and have a go at. To be honest, I was disappointed with only reaching 168 kilometers per hour. I'm not going to blame the fact that they gave me low compression kids tennis balls, or that the racket was too light for me. But what was quite cool about this was they sent me a video with some analysis of my serve, which not only put me on Philippe Chatrier, but it also gave me some feedback on my serve technically. Now, this was clearly in French, so if I've got any French viewers watching, let me know in the comments what feedback they gave me. We've just watched Casper Ruud play an epic match. It was 3 hours long in very hot temperatures. We're waiting for Iga Swiatek. Stay tuned. We then headed back onto Philippe Chatrier to watch Iga Swiatek take on Claire Liu. Now, this was a cagey first set from Iga with a few unforced errors, but she found her confidence in the second set and went on to win 6-4, 6-love. You can see that Iga really feels at home at the French Open, and as number 1 seed, she's definitely the favourite to win the tournament. Now, I really wanted to watch Ons Jabeur play in the next match, as she's one of my favourite WTA players. I love the way that she mixes up the game. However, time was running out, and we'd already planned to watch Zverev's practice out on one of the outdoor courts. You probably remember that a year ago, Sasha had a terrible terrible ankle injury at the French Open against Rafael Nadal. Now, this match was super close. In fact, it seemed as though he was turning the match around against Rafa, and he went over on his ankle. So coming back to the French Open this year is a big deal for him. When I was watching him practice, what was really striking was the weight of shot that he had. He uses his long levers really, really well. I honestly think that he's got a really good chance of going deep into the tournament this year. Although I may eat my words, as this video won't be out for a couple of days and he may already be knocked out. But we have in recent tournaments seen his results improve. After this, around 6 PM, we watched a couple of games of some ladies doubles matches before heading back for some food at an incredible restaurant near the Eiffel Tower. This was really cool as I got the chance to meet some of the other content creators that I was going to be spending the day with tomorrow with Adidas. You may recognize a few of them from YouTube, but you're going to see more of them in my next video. Anyway, as I mentioned, I've got some tips for you if you're planning a trip to the French Open. Number one is to book your tickets a year ahead. They're really good value, but they sell out super quickly. You can get them on the Roland Garros website, but what is also really cool is you can actually buy tickets for the week before the tournament for the qualifying event. Now, it looked as though this year they were selling for €35 for the whole week. During this week, you were able to watch all the qualifying matches, but what's more is during this week, you get a lot of the top seeds training on Philippe Chatrier, so a really cool opportunity to watch some big names during their practice sessions while the tournament is much quieter. Tip number two is on the day of the event, it's important to plan which matches you want to watch and to try to get to those courts beforehand as they fill up really quickly. And my final tip is to check out the practice court schedule online. Now you can simply type in Roland Garros practice schedule onto Google and it takes you through to the website link where you can see which players are practicing on which courts at certain times of the day. This is how we found out that Sasha Zverev was due to be practicing on one of the outdoor courts. So as you saw, I had an incredible time at Roland Garros. If you thought that was cool, you need to wait to see my next video, as the following day we had an even more unique experience. This in the background will give you a clue. I won't tell you much more, you'll have to tune in next week. See you there.